Dr. Anjana Kumar Akka is a researcher at Hitachi India Private Limited, which specializes in AI/ML solutions from smart city applications, particularly in water and energy domains. With a PhD in water resources and environmental engineering from the Indian Institute of Science Bangalore, she actively collaborates with government departments to enhance water management in Indian cities, contributing sustainable urban development. Anjana Akka, please share with us how AI helps in managing water.
So today I'm going to talk about something that all you people are familiar with. That is water. So okay. So tell me, like I think there are 10 groups or something. What do you use water for? Why is water essential? I can't hear anything. Drinking, yes, that is. Yes, so we need water for drinking. Water is quite essential for us human beings as well as animals and fishes and everything, right? And it is essential for their survival. And also, I'm not hearing any more answers from the audience. Yes, agriculture, that's how you produce your food, right? You need water. Electricity, yes, that's a very interesting thing. You actually, generate electricity using water, but there is also a component of, water that is used for the other way also. So generally, the main point I wanted to make here was water is extremely essential for us, both for irrigation, which provides us with food. Then we have drinking, the most important component. We cannot survive without water. Industries. All our industries need water either for production or for the electricity they are using for production. And almost in our daily life, water is the most essential component for human beings. And what are the sources of water? How do you get water in your houses? Tap water, yes, good. Yeah, some of you might be having wells in your house, right? I mean, you will take water from the well. So, generally the water sources are classified as surface, surface water bodies. That is mostly our rivers, lakes, etc. And then we have the groundwater system. You have your wells, which provides you water. You take it through the rope or a motor, based on how deep the well is. So these are the main sources. I heard some of you saying you get your water from tap water. So tell me, how does this water in river reach to your taps? Yes, you're correct. Yes, exactly. Yeah, all are the same answer. So, is this the next slide? Okay. Okay. Can you go to the previous one? Okay. So let's keep it. Yeah. So water is extremely essential, and you all agree with that, right? So, have you had any trouble because of any, have you ever faced any of these issues? Have you seen, heard in the news somewhere? Yes. These are phenomena which we would have always come across, right? There is, whenever it rains during monsoon generally, and whenever it rains, we see floods in our urban communities as well as rural, everywhere. Then we have droughts during dry summer. So one of the key, why do you think we face these issues?
Climate change.
Exactly. All the answers what you told was correct. Lack of proper management, global warming, all this do constitute to these kind of events which cause inconvenience to us and as well as threats our existence. Same way, we need some water. Say in our house there are 5 people and all of you uses 5 units of water, but you don't get enough 5 units. You are always having less amount of water you are getting less amount of water from the pipes. Say sometimes you see during certain days there are no water at all, so for which you are forced to store water somewhere. Have you come across those kind of scenarios? Yeah. So that is also, mainly due to improper management. So here, as you can see, this is actually a map of India and it's projected towards for 2030, and it shows that most of India will be facing a severe lack, a scarcity of water pretty soon. And how do you mitigate this? By properly managing your water resources. So that is what I'm going to talk to you about. Proper water management is a key. But is there a way AI can help us in proper management of water? So let's move on. Okay. So we covered 2 things. Water is essential. Water is not just essential, we also need to manage the water, right? So, and most of the kids are from 9, 10 grades, right? 8, 9 grade. So, come on, help me understand this particular picture. This is actually a water cycle. What are the components of your water cycle? Yes. So, exactly. So, what do you have? You have rivers from where water evaporates, forms clouds, then as it moves, sees obstructions, there will be rain, and what? Rainwater infiltrates into the ground and recharges your aquifer. Okay? And what other things happens? We as human beings have built quite a lot of dams across rivers, right? And what we do? We take that water from these surface bodies and we take it to a particular place called water treatment plants. Do you ever drink water from lakes? If someone gives you a cup of water from a lake, will you ever drink that?
No, ma'am.
Did your mother allow you to drink that?
No, ma'am.
No, right? Yeah. So why? Why did you drink that?
In that word germs, bacteria.
Exactly. So the water we get, it has to be burnt, treated and brought to a certain quality for us to use it, right? And that is what we do in water treatment plants. At the water treatment plants, we treat the water, we disinfect the water and supply the water to your ends. That is, we have things like pipes, water pipes, we have pumps, valves, etc. We use those and these systems supply water to your taps and use that water, right? And that particular system is called a water distribution system. Okay? Then, what you might have heard of wastewater, right? The grey water, whatever is generated as waste, the toilet water, the kitchen wastewater, everything. Where does that go? Drainage. From the drainage, ideally it is supposed to go to another treatment plant called a wastewater treatment plant. At the wastewater treatment plant, what they do? They again go through different chemical processes, much rigorous than the initial set of process, and from there, whatever that comes out of the wastewater treatment plant is actually a good water, but we don't use it. At least in India, we don't use it. You will come across other countries that uses that water later on in the presentation. But what we do is, we treat the water and put it back into the rivers. Okay? And this system, from the wastewater collection, from your toilets, kitchen sinks, everything, the wastewater is collected, moved to a treatment plant, treated and brought, discharged back to open bodies. That system is called a wastewater system. Okay? So this is actually a very complex cycle. So it is very difficult to understand each and everything in a half an hour session. So instead of that, I'm just going to talk about a very small portion of it. That is called the water distribution network. So you all are familiar with water distribution networks, right? That is how you get water into your taps. So though they have tanks, overhead tanks. So on your way in and around your locality, you would have seen some overhead tanks, right? All of you have seen? Is there anyone who hasn't seen? No, right? Everyone has seen overhead tanks. So that is also a part of water distribution system. So there are things like pumps. If you have wells, you might have seen your parents switch on and off the pumps to pump water to the overhead tank in your houses, right? So you have pumps, valves. These are certain components which are part of your water distribution network. Okay? So, as I told, so how do you think AI can help you in managing your water distribution networks? For example, let's see. I think this is one slide that everyone had talked before me. Refers to the development of computer systems that can perform tasks that typically requires human intelligence. That means computer starts thinking like humans. And what do? They try to learn things. They learn things from data and try to create patterns and solves very complex problems for you. Okay, and again, I think this again, the last two presentations, you've seen number of examples of how AI is being used, right? The most common one, what you will say, what is it? Google, right? You all must be using Google, right? For studying. Okay, so that is also a typical application of AI. So again, I think this graph, this diagram is repetition of what Professor Vijay had before. So you all know this. So tell me what it is. These are three different. So these are general categories of AI, right? AI in general is like a broader science. Machine learning is much finer, where accuracy is more and the data you use is more. And if you have quite a lot of data, you can do deep learning, where the accuracy is very good. But the question arises, do you have that much of data in water systems?
No, ma'am.
Let's see. Next. Okay. So, last presentation I heard people giving ideas about optimal signal, timing, etc. So, give me a few examples where I can use AI for water networks. You can read from the slide also. Come on. Already sleepy after the samosa? Come on. Exactly. Very good. So, why do you need to understand where the water is being used? Exactly. You can manage your supply. For example, like that kid told, You're predicting the supply of water to a particular area. What will you do with that information? You can manage the supply to that area. Okay? So this is just a single use case. There are multiple use cases. For example, when we put the water networks, right, that we have to lay the pipes and valves, pumps, etc. for a new city coming up. How do you do this? We can't do that. There are 100 people living in that city today. Can we put water pipelines just for 100 people? Will that be enough? There is a flaw, right? There is something wrong in it. What is it? After 10 years, is the population going to be the same?
No, ma'am.
No, the population will increase, right? Might increase, might decrease, it might not be the same. It will not be the same. So, you need to design something called an optimal network. And water systems are very huge and they span kilometers. And there are numerous options. Out of that billions of options, we have to actually come up with a single design. We have to choose one single design. Design in the sense you have to choose where the water pipeline lies, where should be the tank, what should be the size of the tank, etc. Okay? So, AI actually helps us researchers to do that by simplifying it. The traditional methods for the same was very tedious and it was not accurate also. But AI actually gives us a shortcut in the same. That is one use case of AI in water supply management. Second is leak. Have you ever faced leaks in your network? Leaks, leaky taps, burst pipes. You've seen none, right? So, what happens when it leaks? You are losing water. Maybe because of that leak, you might not get water for cooking today in your house, right? So, what can AI do for that? AI helps with that as well. It helps us detect and even times localize the leaks in the network. Say, pinpoint where the leak is. Similarly, energy savings. As mentioned earlier, we use pumps, mainly pumps for pumping water. In your house, if you have pumps, you have a well and you are pumping water. If you pump continuously, the energy used will be very high, right? No, you won't do that. You try to save as much energy as possible. How? In a household it is easy, but think of huge networks. It's a very difficult task. AI once again helps you in that. Again, demand forecasting. I think we already talked about it. Calculating how much a locality or a person consumes and using that intelligence for the future planning. Asset management. So asset generally refers to the components of your network such as pumps, valves, etc. Okay, and as time passes on, these components, they start to deteriorate and you need to service them very often. So when I say this, it might sound simple, but it's actually not that simple. Why? Because there are thousands of pumps and valves running simultaneously. So based on the condition of each and every valve, you have to prioritize which of these has to be serviced first. And using AI tools, we can develop algorithms or solutions that can tell us, okay, you prioritize this particular pump near to this household. It is making quite a lot of noise. Better replace it as soon as possible. So AI can help us in that as well. And water quality. We earlier did talk about how you won't drink water from a lake or somewhere. Why? Because the quality is not adequate. So when the water that comes in your taps, right? You do use it for bathing, and cooking purpose, right? Without worrying much about the quality. Why? Because there are setups which monitor this quality, the quality requirement of the water continuously. And whenever there is a slight deviation in the quality, it starts generating alarms, which will help the people who are managing the system to take remedial actions. So these are just, 5 things that was just top of the list. There are numerous issues and there are numerous researches going on in each of these areas, how they can leverage AI to help water networks to be managed better. So, in order for AI to function, what is the minimum requirement? Yes, data. So for water networks, so for the previous video traffic presentation, what was the data feed? Yes, cameras. And when it comes to water networks, our sensors are a bit different. We have flow meters. Flow meters are nothing but things that measure the rate of flow in the network, like how much is going to a particular part of the network, how much is going to the north side of the network, etc. Similarly, we have level sensors. You have a water tank. How much is the level of water in that tank in a particular instant? That the tank level keeps on changing, so does the flow. Similarly, we have pressure sensors, water quality sensors, and the collection of all these data. We have to have all this minimal data to generate AI-based algorithms for water networks. So what do? We collect the data, we analyze the data. Using AI, we gain insights and create solutions. Okay. Leak. So, you people would have seen these conditions, right? Leaks in top water networks. Leak detection is very crucial because, this water what is coming to you, it is not just taken from the river. It is being treated. So there is quite a lot of energy and chemicals used. And so, and water is quite precious. You cannot allow that to be lost like this in anywhere of the network. So it is essential that we detect leaks accurately, so that it is not a very small area that we are talking about. We are talking about for say city, half the city size of Bangalore. There at a single day there might be somewhere around 1,000 leaks across the system, right? So what does AI help us do? AI help us to create alarms, will notify the managers that there is leaks in the system. How does it do it? Previously we talked about all the sensors, flow meters, pressure sensors, level sensors. We collect all those data, we pre-process the data. There's little bit, some error might be here and there might be some missing data, the sensor got switched off. So just remove all those things. We analyze the data, okay? And then what? You have 2 sets of data. Okay, let's say 3 sets of data, out of which 2 has, you're sure there was a leak in the network when you took the data, and the other set doesn't have a leak. Okay, you understood the pattern. And in the sense, you built an algorithm, AI algorithm, which understood the pattern. Okay, and what will you do? Next day, you are getting another signal. And what will you do? You compare. Right? You have two sets. One data is that when there was a leak, one that was when there was no leak. Then the new data comes and you start comparing. Compare the new data with both these buckets and see which is the one it is closer to. So if it is closer to the no leak condition, then there is no leak in the system. But if it is closer to the leak condition, definitely you have to notify someone there is a leak in the network. So this is actually very preliminary process. There are quite a lot of mathematics involved. As Professor Yogesh Simran told in the morning, mathematics is fundamental, maths is fundamental. So even though the process I might be able to explain to you very simply, very easily, it is not that easy. But you can understand it. If you have a grip on mathematics, if you like mathematics, AI is very easy. All you need is your maths. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit of story. So everyone might be familiar with Singapore, right? Right? Singapore, the country. So Singapore is actually was long ago a country with minimal amount of water. In fact, they used to actually export water from Malaysia. Malaysia is a neighboring country and they used to export water. So what happened? Malaysia started increasing the charges of water. And the Singaporeans were like, okay, that's it. We have to find some other solutions. And they developed their recycling systems, the water systems in such a way. They have the most efficient water management system that right now they are self-sufficient. And you know what helps them to be this self-sufficient? AI. Advanced analytics. And advanced analytics plus willingness of the people to conserve water. So just application of an AI is not the end of the story. You have to apply AI, give insights, and someone might be willing to implement as well. And that makes a efficient water management policy, strategy. You can choose your. So that is about Singapore. So this figure. So let me just explain a little bit. So they had sensors. They collected the data through the sensors and they transferred the data to their processing unit where they were able to actually analyze the data and create different hydraulic models. That is what the technical term we use for modeling water networks. Okay, and they created the hydraulic models. They created digital twins, they have alarm systems which notify of leak, water quality events, etc. And they have interactive display. So this is actually output from a very research perspective, but currently they are able to implement it the countrywide as well. So this is actually the whole picture. Okay, so this is my conclusion. Water dispatch systems are very complex systems and application of AI helps us deal with the challenges that comes with such complex and big systems. They are far better than the traditional systems. I mean, all the speakers above me said that, repeated the same concept. And remember, the talk was on water management using AI. What I addressed today was a very small portion of it. In fact, I think tomorrow you will be hearing from Professor Indu on how AI is applicable for climate change. So again, climate is yet another subcomponent of your complete water cycle. Okay? So when it comes to water, water is essential and AI can help us manage it better. Thank you, kids.
Thank you so much, Anjana Akka. Like it reminds me of, water everywhere, but soon there will not be a single drop to spare. And helping to manage all this are people like you, who are also inspiring children to ensure that your kind of work goes on. Use artificial intelligence to make sure that everyone has enough water for all their needs. Thank you so much, and here's a small memento of our love for you. It's artwork done by our students. Thank you so much.